Welcome to Voice Rising with Kara Johnstad. Enjoy weekly conversations with leading luminaries, pioneering visionaries, singers, poets, musicians, and sound healers as we explore the profound role our voice plays on the path to self-realization and global enlightenment. The internationally acclaimed singer, composer, author, healer, recording artist, voice expert, creator of Voice Your Essence, and founder of the School of Voice, Kara Johnstad uses her extraordinary spiritual gifts to empower others. Everything in this world vibrates. Everything has a frequency. A pioneer in the field of voice work and transformational songwriting. Her breakthrough methods are helping thousands of people worldwide fine-tune their body-mind-spirit system and unlock the energetic frequencies of limitless creativity, health, and abundance. Share your voice, ask your questions, join in the conversation. Receive life-changing, positive transformation and rise together to create a sound world. And here's your host, Kara Johnstad.
Hello, everybody. Welcome today to Voice Rising. With me in the studio is Annie Patterson. And for those of you who don't know Annie, she is one of America's premier song leaders. She has been singing around the globe for over 30 years and is well known for her work as co-creator and editor of the songbooks Rise Up Singing and Rise Again. An accomplished folk performer, jazz vocalist, musician, peace activist, mother, and community organizer, Annie Patterson has committed her life to the transformational power of music and the importance of raising our voices in community. Welcome, Annie. It's so good to have you with me today.
Hi, Kara. Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah, so let's start in a very easy place. And then after that, we can dive into those big questions on voice and the meaning of music and community. But let's start in that place of your childhood. Was music always a part of your life? And if so, do you remember one memory in particular that really shaped you as a singer or as a musician when you were a kid?
Oh my God, music was such a part of my childhood. I mean, I really feel so lucky that that I grew up in a family with music around me. My mother came from a very musical family herself. They had a little family band that was, where they just played a lot of different instruments together. And so, the household I grew up in, playing music was sort of a given, learning to singing. Mm-hmm. So we sang in the car a lot. Mm-hmm. And, I remember singing with my mother in the car and wanting to learn how to sing harmony. And, it felt like a very distant kind of thing. But, this was at a young age. Yeah. And my mother taught me a song that had two different parts to it, called Beautiful Ohio. I just remember all kinds of things. No, I don't think anybody really knows. But
I was thinking, Beautiful Ohio. And did you sing the top voice then as a young girl? And your mom sang underneath?
Well, we would switch. Once she taught me the second part, there were two songs that went together. And once she taught me the second part, we would switch them back and forth. Because I was such a curious girl around music. I just, it really resonated with me. So, yeah.
So when was it, so music was very natural to you, and when was it that you decided to make music and singing, and you continue with, leading these community circles of people singing together? When did you realize that you wanted to make that your path, like your career?
Well, I don't know exactly when that happened, because I also was an art student. I went to school to be an artist. And yet the whole time I was at art school, I was learning to play the banjo and really diving into a genre of Appalachian old-time music. Yeah. And I was interested all through my childhood, I sang in choirs and did musical theater. So, that was always on the periphery, but I thought I would make my career as an artist. And at some point, I think after I graduated college, I just felt I had to go the music route. It just kept calling. And the question was, how am I going to do this and make a living? I never really figured out that was my path for that. It was more about following a path of my heart, really.
Yeah, beautiful. Do you ever Yeah. Do you still paint? There are a lot of songwriters like Joni Mitchell, for example. They're painting and doing the music. Do you still find yourself creating as a fine artist?
Not so much. I mean, I work as a graphic artist now, and I do, little cartoons. Of course, I did all the designing of our second songbook, Rise Again. Did a lot of the little filler art in there, and so I work within graphic arts every day for different things. But in terms of a creative outlet, I really haven't gone back to that in quite a while.
So now, as I understand, you're in the United States, right? You're on the East Coast, and you've done a lot. You just mentioned these books that are very well known in the singing scene for people that do a lot of community singing together. And we know from the news, I mean, I'm sitting over here in Europe, but that in America it's very torn in the moment. We have a pandemic, which must make it very hard for you to sing, I'm assuming, in big groups. At least in Europe, it's very difficult. We now, after being locked down for a long time, are able to sing again. Choirs are able to sing. It was a 6-month break for a lot of choirs. So we have 9 feet approximately between each singer. So you need basically cathedrals or football fields to get a group of people together. But with so many protests happening and so many divisiveness happening in communities, what is your understanding how singing can really bring us together, to breathe together, to remember this common denominator that we are all on the same planet, all breathing the same air, doesn't matter which political party we're belonging to, that we're all, we all have 2 lungs and a beating heart, basically. So what's your experience with that? Do you feel that singing creates bridges between generations or different political views? Or
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are living on a living, breathing earth. The land beneath us is living, it's breathing, it's connecting us with its energy. At least that's what I believe. And also, we're on land that never belonged to us, Mm-hmm. So I live on Nanatuck Nipmuc land here in Amherst, Massachusetts, and I honor the ancestors that lived on this land and have a place in my backyard where I honor them, and I introduce myself to those elders. So it's a huge part of my world, is to sort of think beyond the linear, and singing helps you do that. So in this time of the pandemic, a lot of what has come my way, let's say, is people are just grieving. There's been so much grief from people I know that sing regularly in choirs. And they'll get in touch with me and they'll say, I can't come to your online event because I just can't stand it. So that was the first 3 months, I think, of the pandemic. I heard a lot of that. And gradually, I think people realized and maybe some people are still really stuck in the grief, but my experience with grief and singing is that singing leads the way out of the grief. So our bodies helps our bodies feel our resonance and the resonating emotions. And so when we do online events, we might call them sing-alongs, but, you know, it's going to be one person in their living room singing along with me. And we're not going to hear those beautiful, beautiful harmonies. But, you know, I'm a tech nerd. I was in radio for a while, and I was a teacher, and I'm a people person. So my feeling is, my role is to just remind people this isn't forever, and we need each other. And singing, no matter whether you're with someone else or not, is healing. It's a healing vibration. So, you know, I mean, that's a long-winded answer, but it's really how I feel, is we have to sing, you know, whether it's on our own in a room, in Zoom, you know, or 9 feet apart from each other.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't think it's a long-winded answer at all. I think that there are layers and layers of grief that is coming up in this moment. And a lot of people are so, of course, at the same time in survival, that they forget that they have this tool, this amazing tool, whether they're just humming while they're making a soup, whether they're whistling while hanging the wash, you know, how can we integrate that tool? And when we see children staying in that power of now, that present moment, and just continuing just to dance and laugh, even though, you know, there may be fearful things happening around them, but they still somehow are easily connected to keeping their emotions in flow through singing. And somewhere we as adults, most of us, I mean, not me, of course, because I'm a singer, but many people that come, they've forgotten it, how easy it is just to start humming, singing in the shower, putting on music. So I think that that's a beautiful gift that you do. So I did see that you do some concerts. So you're also doing Zoom. You're doing the circles on using the technology that we have to gather people together. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm using YouTube. I'm using Facebook. I'm using Zoom. And, you know, I've got my whole, you know, basically when the pandemic hit, like so many of us, I moved the couch out of my office and I made space for all my equipment. And I'm a bit of a sound geek, so it wasn't too hard for me to do that pivoting because I already practice with my swing band online, you know, for 5 years now. I've been doing that. So it's sort of been a little bit of a pivot to make space in a small house, you know? Yeah. So lots of different ways, because some people love having Zoom because different communities want to see each other.
Right.
They want the visual. Whereas on Facebook, it's not as important. People are used to the chat feature, and we have a whole community, an international community on Monday afternoons here in the Eastern Time Zone on Facebook that go on, and you know, we've got people from England and France and the States, and we all get together there. It's pretty cool.
Beautiful. So you and Peter Blood, I believe, you developed these, you gathered all these beautiful songs and created 2 songbooks, if that's right. And I was wondering, how did you possibly, with so many gorgeous songs out there, how did you choose the songs?
Yeah, it was, Kara, it was so hard. Oh my God. And we missed some really good ones, you know, like it was one of these situations where we, when we did Rise Up Singing, it was 1988. We didn't have computers back then. We had computers. We didn't have the internet. And so what we did was we thought, who do we know who are really well versed in different genres and really know great songs, either song leaders or people who work within the industry. And so we had a song selection committee for both the books, one for Rise Up Singing back then, and Pete Seeger was on that committee. We met regularly with different folks that we just sat around a table and everybody brought their songs. And, you know, I have really great memories of that. And then we compiled these lists We had a team of people that entered them into a database, and then, you know, when it was time to do our second song, Rise Again, that was 1,200 more songs. There was no overlap, and we did the same thing. We basically had a song selection committee, but of course, with the second book, we could use the internet in terms of Google Drive and sharing documents with each other. It made it a little bit easier.
Was it difficult?
But it was hard
to get.
It
was difficult to gather the songs, and then where's the next process to get all these copyrights? Because I mean, if you're just taking old folk songs from, you know, ancient Ireland or whatever, that's probably easier. But your books actually have a lot of songs from the 60s too, and where was that really hard to get all the permission to bring all these songs together?
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, this is why people don't do this unless they're crazy.
Yeah, right. I thought you must be mad.
Well, you know, right from the beginning, we had basically our mission statement was this was going to be grassroots, this was going to be progressive, but also across genres. And really, we looked to our mentor and friend, Pete Seeger, who loved all different genres. He wasn't just a folkie. He knew music inside and out. And and he loved the books because he loved that you could go from one genre and then go completely to something else, like, you know, have these really different experiences with the different kinds of songs. But the permissions was extensive, and even if you have a songbook with a lot of traditional songs, you do have to prove they're traditional. That is another added step. But for Rise Again, we worked with our publisher, Hal Leonard, who already owned permissions for maybe about, 500 to 600 of the songs out of 1,200. And then our dear friend Joe Offer, who really was our, one of our main, assistants on this book, assistant editors. He helped out, as did Joanna Halverson. So we had people who were just working alongside of us. But some of the permissions were very hard to get, and you do have to be kind of nutso to do this.
You are driven for the good song. Driven. Annie, we're going to take a very short break, and we're going to be back and talk more about the voice and music and community and your vision that you carry for the world.
The cutting edge of conscious radio. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at omtimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hi, this is David Strickle. I'm excited to share my brand new show, The Stream of David Live, right here on OMTimes Radio. Each week I'll have exciting guests and I'll channel the eternal wisdom of the stream, a group of non-physical entities whose teachings have transformed lives all over the world. So join us for an uplifting hour each Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern. That's The Stream of David Live right here on OMTimes Radio.
With happy clients all over the world, Kara Johnstad knows that your voice is the missing link to more authenticity, abundance, creativity, and health. An internationally acclaimed voice expert, Kara's breakthrough methods have helped thousands of people successfully heal their voice wounds and extinguish the story of self-doubt and shyness forever. Join in group trainings, attend online sessions, schedule one-on-one time, and invite Kara to work with your organization and community. Get started today. Go to www.karajohnstad.com. and receive a special guided meditation designed to fine-tune your inner voice and welcome you on the voice journey.
A social distancing tip.
Putting distance between yourself and others is critical to slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are ways to stay in contact without the physical contact part. Call, send a text, set up a video conference, post on social media, dedicate a song on the radio. If you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. You are at Voice Rising. I'm your host, Kara Johnstad, and with me in studio is Annie Patterson, and we were just talking about so many things. Their book out there of community songs that everybody can check out. And Annie, I wanted to talk to you too a little bit about the time that we're in. You talked beautifully before the break about the importance of singing together and also the grief that is there. We also have a lot of peaceful protesting happening in the United States, and I wanted to get your thoughts. I remember songs like "We Shall Overcome." I remember songs, during the protest movements in the 60s and 70s, and I don't hear so much singing in the moment. I hear a lot of important chanting, spoken word, but I miss the singing. And I was wondering if you had any thoughts on that, and if singing helps us to get the message out even more, to maybe have it be, to penetrate the collective soul more than only speaking.
Yeah, I mean, I have some definite thoughts about this. I think I tend to agree with you. We don't hear a lot of songs being written that are these kind of protest songs we had in the 60s that have, your easy chorus, repetitive chorus, your wordsmithing where it wasn't, always in your face. There was metaphors and that kind of thing. We have a page on our website where we do list songs that work well at protests. The thing is, what I notice is happening is there are amazing songs being written, but sometimes they're very complex and complicated with these bridges, that no one can remember how the bridges goes unless you're always singing to it. Like I've met young people who know songs like they could do it at a karaoke, but it's different for a protest. And what I notice people doing is taking just part of a song, like a song about Ella Baker from Sweet Honey in the Rock. Right. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. That is a perfect little part of a song to repeat. And I've seen it in videos of people protesting for immigrant justice. So I think, it's available to us. We have to think a little differently. And so I encourage people, to think about the part of a song that moves you. We're not out there to try and shove a song in someone's face. The song is meant to be a vehicle to get people to think and to expand and to open their hearts. And it's also there to encourage the people that are protesting. So I think that's what I tell people is, we need more songs, write them, but don't make them be songs that are super duper technical. Use metaphors, get us feeling, that's what I tell.
Well, the songs have to be taught sometimes also in call and response, right? So while people are walking or while they're moving, right? And for me, it's just interesting that we have, because I interview a lot of different people on the show, and there is also a very big kirtan movement where there are very strong mantras that are very easy to learn, but they're, of course, most of them in Sanskrit. And as a singer, I I really think that the hook or the refrain is what we start to embody. If you think of this, we shall overcome, or if you think of imagine all the people, or if I had a hammer, I mean there are thousands of songs. Yep. And I feel sometimes that we're missing the simple but very deep messages, and we're even at times moving to a different language. And I don't know why that is. I've actually asked this question to even yogis. It's a beautiful, powerful language. Sanskrit is a beautiful language. But what would happen if we say, I want peace, or I am peace, right? I mean, just say it, like, and chant it, or justice, or,
Yeah. My good friends, Emma's Revolution is a duo, Sandy O and Pat Humphreys. And they've written a song called Peace, Salam, Shalom. Just repeats, Peace, Salam, Shalom. And it's so simple. And you can get a rhythm going to it. Peace, Salam, Shalom. And you just repeat it. And we can do that. I think we've maybe forgotten a little bit how to tap into that. Now, I know I agree with you, like there's so many protests I've been to where there's really great call and response chants. And we have a beautiful Buddhist center here called the Peace Pagoda. And Sister Claire is one of the sisters that leads that. She'll come out to a protest, and they'll do Sanskrit, and they'll do chants, and it beautiful. Adds a lovely kind of energy lifting. But for people to feel engaged, I think we have to look to the call and response. Yeah.
So a lot of people with the grieving that's happening, with the working 5 to 6 jobs. Sometimes I think the Americans are working so many jobs, hustling so much, doing so much. I mean, just they're amazing. Yeah, amazing how we can balance it all. That, of course, also affects the voice. What are your, you're not only working as collecting songs, you're working as a singer. You're also a jazz vocalist, you're a folk singer, you're an instrumentalist. What's your advice for people that want to come back to singing? How can they unlock their voice? How can they keep their hearts open while going through these very intense times in the moment?
Well, I know they need to listen to you.
Nice.
There's so many resources on YouTube. But my biggest advice to people is be gentle on your voice. You do not have to, push too hard to get your voice back in shape. And I suggest that people do scales, and they do, warm-ups, absolutely, in the shower, in the morning, and it can be as simple as an but it really, people want to push, because they're pushing in the rest of their lives. And I had a voice teacher who years ago who said, imagine your voice is coming into your body and opening up your body and expanding this living vessel and filling it with the sound. Now, obviously, our voice is going out of our body, but the imagination piece of reclaiming your voice is so important. Anything people can do to just love their imagination, like just invite the imagination, invite it, love it, and help it expand without, pressuring and pushing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's excellent advice, and it is imagination, but what many people don't know is that the vocal folds have a sucking action. They're not pushing out when we push through it. And so a lot of people, you're absolutely correct, they're taking in much too much air. They're pushing much too much through those small little folds. And I think that advice to be gentle with ourselves, to be kind with ourselves, is so
it's
true.
The first step. It's a first step.
Right.
I think it's so ridiculous when people come up and say, oh, you're so lucky that you can sing. You're so lucky. And of course I want to say, this is hard work. Okay.
Yeah.
You get to a point of singing well by working at it, just like you do anything. And I don't believe you're just, maybe a few people might be born with magic vocal cords, but they had to work too. They had to use it. They had to learn how to not strain. And so, as soon as people feel they can connect, if they're really interested and they can do it, work with some of the videos online or get a vocal teacher. I have a voice teacher now.
Very good. Yeah, I believe in voice teachers. I love voice teachers. There are some not so good ones, but there are some excellent voice teachers, and it's really good also for all of us, even top professionals, to be in a space where we're listening differently to ourselves, right? So we listen differently to ourselves when we have the reflection of somebody else sitting across from us at a piano or whatever it may be. And he talked to us about the truthful lyrics, the importance of truthful lyrics and how they can transform us. Why are truthful lyrics so important?
So I think Europeans can recognize this. In America, there has been a lot of pretense. The whole country was founded on a sense of mythology and pretense. In fact, if you go back to the doctrine of discovery, this idea that white people can come over and just kill people and take their land, but then, name it something patriotic. We have to feel the truth of something and also honor the struggle that comes with that truth. So as a white woman, I need to, if I want to sing an African-American spiritual, I have learned from my friends of color how important it is that, that I honor the struggle behind the song and do it verbally for the audience to hear that, I'm going to sing this song. There is struggle behind it. And maybe that's why it resonates so deeply, is there's a truth going on. So, I think pop songs that are kind of, surface songs, they can be fun. It's fun to go to the YMCA. These songs are fun. I think they're, but, I think that song became a symbol for a truth for a group of people. And the truth was, we want to come out to you. We want to be our true selves. So if you look at songs and you can think about it, so like some songs from musicals, they just make me cry. I just hear the song the moment I hear it. And sometimes I don't know if it's the chord progression or it's the lyrics or both, but a really good songwriter, they'll get you and you'll go, whoa. That's some truth. And it can, like you say, it can heal when you don't even know it's healing.
You do have a new CD out, I believe, together with Mary Witts, called Fearless, celebrating women singers. And Fearless sounds like there are a lot of truthful lyrics. There's singers that have inspired you. You want to share a little bit more about those singers? I see Nina Simone is Linda Ronstadt, Dinah Washington. Just Ella Fitzgerald. Share with us a little bit more about this new album that you just brought out.
Oh my gosh. Well, Mary Witt is a dear friend and a colleague, and we've done a lot of duet work over the years. And she also produced an earlier EP that I put out that's jazz and blues. And we were going to go on tour together and decided, wait, let's make a CD together. And the title Fearless comes really from the notion that women don't have to be put in a box. We can do whatever we want. I think Mary and I are similar age. Our generation and older generations, we were really told that we had a certain box to be in. Mm-hmm. And there's one particular song called Never One Thing on this CD. It's written by singer-songwriter May Erlewine. And that song is really the epitome for me of what I love about all these artists is, basically don't try and put me in your mold. I'm going to be what I am on that given moment. And these songs are really special songs. I love all of them.
Yeah, and it's interesting that painters are allowed to have their phases, right? The blue phase or the
right.
But singers somehow, when we have a different phase, we're not anymore. We're almost insane or nutty, or nobody can follow it. I'm always surprised because I know so many great singers who can sing jazz and folk and country and anything they want, even classical and musical. But there's this idea that you need to stay true to a certain genre, so to a certain sound. And I find that really limiting. As everybody will know if they ever listen to my music, because it's also in different places. And it's fabulous then that you brought out an album called Fearless, and to break those molds. I think that's fantastic.
Well, the funny thing is, I hear people say that, artists today don't necessarily feel like they have to fit in different molds. But the problem is, if you go to produce your recording and you want to make it into, downloads that you're going to sell through CD Baby or through one of these other, iTunes, mm-hmm. It's still this old concept that you have to fit it within a genre. And albums don't necessarily fit into genres anymore. Now, it's true, a lot of kinds of songs like jazz songs or blues songs, obviously they do, but not a lot of artists now are just singing songs that really mean something to them, and they're cross genres. So I think the problem is with the system that categorizes the songs.
Right. You're right about
that's
that.
A little tricky.
Yeah. I just did it for an album and I couldn't find it. It was actually at CD Baby. I couldn't find it. I have, one jazz song, one pop song, one. Anyway, Annie, we're going to take a very short break. And here's to women that are fearless and don't fit into any boxes. Yeah.
Amen.
We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. ascendinghearts.com.
When you wake up in the morning, are you excited for the new day? Are you passionate about your work? Are your relationships fulfilling? And finally, are you happy? I'm Mia Voce, your host and guide to the power of 5. Harness the forces of the universe and unleash your powers within. Join me each Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, here on OMTimes Radio. And remember, anything is possible. You only just have to believe.
Imagine being fired because of who you love. Imagine being denied medical treatment because of who you marry. Imagine being evicted because of who you are. Millions of Americans don't have to imagine this. They have to live it. Because in 31 states, it's legal to discriminate against LGBT people. Get the facts at beyondido.org. Brought to you by the Gill Foundation and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Voice Rising. I'm your host, Kara Johnstad, and with me in studio is Annie Patterson, one of America's premier song leaders. She's been singing around the globe for over 30 years and is very well known for her work as co-creator and editor of the songbooks Rise Up Singing and Rise Again. She's accomplished folk performer, jazz vocalist, and we were just talking about her newest release, which is Fearless. It is an album celebrating the voice, basically, of great artists, of women artists that we know. So Annie, welcome back. You are a jazz vocalist. You are obviously a community song leader. You are a folk musician, and not to put you into too many boxes, I'm sure you're a rock and roll girl somewhere. Do you also write your own music? Do you also write things?
I'm dipping back into that. As you mentioned at the top of the show, I am a mom, and I now have two wonderful young men as sons, and they're off doing their thing. And I think I had a really tough time balancing sort of the creative, the muse for songwriting when I was raising my guys. But I'm getting ready to go back there and dip into that. So yeah, I have a few songs. I'm thinking about putting them on a recording, so we'll see. Stay tuned.
Beautiful. Yeah, I mean it's a great. It's also a very big creative masterpiece, raising children. So it's very normal that we're missing that muse part at times when we're doing everything else. Give us an example of a song with a powerful message that transformed you forever, that shifted you, that changed you.
Oh my gosh. So many. One of the problems I have is having, made songbooks with so many different songs. I mean, there's several songs that are touchstones for me. It's interesting, though, like the first song that rises to the top is the song that I listened to every day that I was working on our songbook, Rise Again. And that's a song, it's a folk song by a Scottish musician, Archie Fisher. It's called Final Trawl, Trawl. It's a song about a boat. But the melody is so beautiful. His voice is so authentic, and the song would lull me into a place where I could just be grounded, and that was really transforming for me to think, this song, it's just about a boat, right? But the story is actually about the final time they take the boat out on the water, and I think, for me, water. For me, sailing, this notion of a journey, and the music taking you with it. And then there's so many other ones that have moved me really forever. Richard Thompson's songs. I mean, there's a song called In My Bones by Nancy Schimmel, who is the daughter of Malvina Reynolds, who wrote Little Boxes on the Hillside. And In My Bones is an incredible song about there once was a time when people could talk to trees, were never alone, everything they owned were in their hands and in their baskets.
You're making me so curious. I'm going to be
so many
hanging.
Songs.
I think I'm going to stalk your Facebook live streams now. You're making me so curious. They sound all intriguing and very important and very beautiful. I read on your homepage that Pete Seeger told you a year before he died that if this world survives 100 years from now, it may well be because of people singing together. Why is community singing and communal singing so important for our survival?
Yeah. Singing in community means sort of broadly speaking, coming together in your community. How do you define that? You know, your family, your school, the people you live near. For Pete Seeger, it meant people who live near each other who don't necessarily know anything about each other. When you put them all in a room together and you get them singing the way a good song leader can, what you do is you engage everyone into these sort of harmonies. You teach them how to be together. It's the ultimate peace teaching, to teach a group of people that don't know each other well how to hear and just have the resonance of the harmonies just fill the room. There's so many moments where people have come up to us at the end of a sing and said, I saw angels, or I felt this way, or I felt that way. I feel so much more hopeful. So we agree with them. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with him too. I think that even though, of course, I'm very touched when people come to, see me as a performer, as a soloist, but I think that we also, the music industry has created superstars on big stages, and through this we've lost our power as community members to realize that we need to be able to sing together. I mean, we need to be able to join in song and really feel that, like you said, to be in harmony with each other, the bakers in harmony with the farmers, in harmony with the gas station owner or whatever. It's like we breathe together, we live together, and it's a very important thing, communal singing. And it just, I'm very happy that you're continuing to do these sessions online, because with what's happening now, it's even more important than ever to sing together, right? Music is such a key to our health, right? So if we're dealing with health issues, then singing is the first place to start to make sure that we stay healthy. Yeah.
And even if you can't sing, if your voice has got problems, being in the room with people singing and allowing that energy to fill the space, this is why I think hospice singing, threshold choirs is one group started by Kate Munger, and singing at bedside. Someone doesn't have to be able to sing, but they can still reap the benefits, the healing energy of the singing.
Yeah, yeah. What is something that you do every day? What is a daily singing ritual, or what are your ways that you stay tapped in and in tune with your instrument, your voice as a musician? I try to do just very simple vocal warm-ups, but in terms of sort of grounding myself, I spent the summer, you're going to laugh, but I spent the summer creating a little place in my backyard that is just for me. Because, we have a lot of together time. My husband, Peter, and I, we run a business together. We're in the house, and the house is not that big. And, so I said, this is my space. You can come into it if I invite you. Nice.
So anyway, I go out.
So what are you going to do?
I just sing, I just sing.
Oh, beautiful. A singing garden.
Yeah,
that's lovely.
Yeah, sing to the earth, I just, whatever comes out of me. I don't have to remember the words. It doesn't matter.
And so I'm curious, you are in Massachusetts. What are you going to do when snow falls?
Exactly. I am planning this out. Believe me, I'm talking to my girlfriend about this. I'm like, okay, what do I need? I need a fire pit. Okay, what's safe? I need a hot tent. There's a thing called a hot tent. I mean, what, so I'm like, I'm really trying to think this through.
I can imagine if you had a little pond, you'd be like ice fishing out there or something. Yeah, exactly. They have these little houses that you can put out, right? These little sheds probably that you can, but you can,
right. So, I mean, whatever it is, I know this, that, you know, if it involves meeting up in a parking lot and talking on the phone, I have to stay connected. And sometimes that's hard. I'm a bit of an introvert, so, you know, that I have to push myself. But I always feel better when I do.
You sound like an introvert extrovert, right?
Well,
Somebody who...
Yeah, I love people, but I get tired.
You love people, but you need time, right? Yeah, but that's, I think most artists are like that. Most artists are like that. We need a lot of time alone, and we need time alone to feel, to tune. We need a lot of time alone, and we really enjoy also when we come into community to feel the beauty of people. I mean, I think most artists that I know, otherwise they wouldn't be living the life of stage or community and singing, right? But most artists, they need a lot of alone time. It's what people don't understand. I'm going to give you three. Don't. Yeah, I'm going to give you 3 words, and you're going to spontaneously say what you feel. The words are love and action. Give me your pictures. Give me your sensations.
Love and action. Get out the vote in November for the change, vote for change. Love and action. Take care of myself. Take care of myself so I can be there. Love and action. Just keep one foot in front of the next and work for racial justice.
I love that. I love hearing today in this time with you the idea of being gentle and kind with ourselves. I sense, you know, we have a pandemic, we have fires raging, we have racial injustice, we have a climate crisis, and still I hear people apologizing that they're not managing more. And I keep on saying, you know, and the thing about voice that a lot of people don't understand about voice, and you said it so beautifully with the, you know, to start with the gentleness. Voice is also about our ears, about listening, about, you know, about tuning in to relax. And my teacher used to say, imagine you're drinking a rainbow. That was her thing. Imagine you're drinking a rainbow, right? And you're like drinking the sound, right? So your teacher also was saying, imagine that the voice is filling you up. And in these times of complexity and in this time of shift and of uncertainty in many ways, if we can imagine that music and that beauty and those moments in the garden are filling us up. And love and action. I think that is such an important place, right? I mean, we can bring out millions of albums, but if we don't take care of each other and especially ourselves and the planet, well, it doesn't really matter how many albums we sold at the end of the day, right? I mean,
boy, that is the truth.
Yeah.
And I think once people start seeing that, they'll see the interconnection between it all.
Yeah. So share with us a little bit more. Where can people get in touch with you? You're talking about these, you know, workshops or Zoom, Facebook, using YouTube, using all those channels. Where can people find your music? Where can people write you love notes and fan mail and
we love it.
Be inspired?
I love love notes.
Yeah, right.
If anybody wants to check it out, they can go to our website, which is riseupandsing.org. And you just Google my name and singing, and that'll, if you don't remember it. And everything's there. You'll find everything, all of our information about our live shows, anything we're doing. It's what they call a content-heavy website with all kinds of little goodies. If you have our songbooks, our website also has something called the music box where you can listen to a YouTube version of every single song in the book.
Wow.
Search for it. So it's really a fun little place to go.
Wow.
But
that is a lot of how do you say, and I don't want to say webmastering, but that's a lot of attending.
A lot of bits.
It's a lot of bits. Congratulations, Annie.
Oh,
wow, That's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I definitely am very curious to, now I forgot the title, Trawl, that's what I remember. Final Trawl was the one song, and the other song, remind me now of the other song that was so intriguing. In My Bones.
By Nancy
and
Shea.
That for me also is music, and that's the beauty. What happens in these community circles that you are leading is that music penetrates where even light does not go, right? Music penetrates right into your bones and right into the heart and of all the people in the room. That is the magic, and that you get to carry those people also with you home, a little bit of that resonance feel, of that harmony. Fantastic. Well, I am very, I'm very happy to have had this talk with you today. I wish you all the best with your newest album and, of course, with everything that you're doing. Thank you so much for creating what you do in this world.
Thank you, Kara. I love talking to you. Thanks so much.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.